It was an unseasonably warm November evening when Justin Trudeau's motorcade rolled into Mar-a-Lago, the sprawling Florida estate of President-elect Donald Trump. The meeting between the two leaders was anticipated to be a cordial discussion about trade relations and economic cooperation. But as the night unfolded, it became clear that this was no ordinary diplomatic dinner. From the outset, the atmosphere was charged. Trump, with his characteristic bluntness, wasted no time diving into the issues. He warned Trudeau of a potential 25% tariff on Canadian imports, framing the move as a necessary step to address the flow of immigrants and drugs into the United States. "These tariffs will be devastating for Canada," Trump declared, his tone leaving little doubt about the seriousness of his threat. Then came the offhand remark that would dominate headlines: "But if they kill the Canadian economy, you can always merge with us as the 51st state." For Trudeau, the comment wasn't just a personal slight, it was an affront to Canada's sovereignty. Known for his calm demeanor, he didn't rise to the bait. Instead, he countered with measured logic, emphasizing the deep economic ties between the two nations and the mutual harm such tariffs would cause. Trudeau explained how Canadian crude oil, electricity, and natural gas are critical to the U.S. economy, underscoring the interdependence that has defined their relationship for decades. The dinner ended without resolution, but the tension between the leaders was palpable. In the days that followed, Trump took to his social media platform, Truth Social, to fan the flames. "It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada," he posted, dripping with sarcasm. The jab struck a nerve, not just with Trudeau, but with Canadians across the nation. For many, it epitomized Trump's dismissive attitude toward their country. Facing mounting pressure to respond, Trudeau stepped up. During a press conference in Ottawa, he addressed the issue head-on. "A 25% tariff on Canadian imports would be devastating for our economy," he acknowledged, his tone firm yet composed. "But let's be clear, the real hardship will be faced by the American people." Trudeau then laid out a series of facts designed to appeal directly to American citizens. He detailed how U.S. industries and consumers rely heavily on Canadian resources, from crude oil to agricultural products, and how Trump's proposed tariffs would lead to higher costs for energy, construction materials, and food. Trump got elected on a commitment to make life better and more affordable for Americans, Trudeau noted. But these tariffs would do the opposite. Beyond the economic arguments, Trudeau's rebuttal carried a deeper message. It was a defense of Canadian values and identity. Trump's demands for stricter action on immigration and border control represented a stark contrast to Trudeau's progressive policies. While the U.S. under Trump leaned toward isolationism, Canada had positioned itself as a beacon of openness and compassion, welcoming thousands of refugees and championing diversity. As the diplomatic standoff unfolded, Canadians rallied behind their Prime Minister. Trump's quip about Canada becoming the 51st state touched a nerve, amplifying fears of losing their identity in the shadow of their powerful southern neighbor. Trudeau's response, rooted in diplomacy and facts, resonated deeply. It was a reminder that Canada would not be bullied or diminished. Political analysts speculated about the long-term implications. Would Trump follow through on his threats, or were they merely a negotiating tactic? If implemented, how would the tariffs impact the intertwined economies of the two nations? For Trudeau, the stakes were high. It wasn't just about tariffs, it was about asserting Canada's independence and protecting its values. In the end, Trudeau's message was unequivocal. Canada is not a subordinate state. It is a sovereign nation, and it will stand its ground. The road ahead promised challenges, but for now, Trudeau's defiance set the tone for how Canada would navigate its relationship with the Trump administration. It was a delicate balance of cooperation and resistance, one that would shape the future of U.S.-Canada relations for years to come. The dispute quickly made international headlines, and while U.S. media debated whether Trump's remarks were a political tactic or mere provocation, the sentiment in Canada was clear. The country would not back down. Trudeau, buoyed by strong public opinion, seized the moment to reinforce the values that define Canada as an independent and sovereign nation. During his next public appearance, Trudeau made it clear that his government was prepared to take decisive action if the tariffs materialized. "Canada does not back down from threats," he declared, his tone resolute. "We will defend our industries, our workers, and our identity as a nation, no matter the pressure." Behind the scenes, Trudeau's government worked tirelessly to rally international allies. Canada began engaging European and Asian trade partners, signaling its readiness to diversify its economic relationships should its largest trading partner turn hostile. Trudeau's administration also launched a public campaign aimed at educating Americans about the integral role Canada plays in their economy, using social media, interviews, and grassroots outreach to drive the message home. In the United States, Trudeau's efforts did not go unnoticed. Economists and industry leaders began to voice concerns about the potential impact of Trump's proposed tariffs on American consumers and businesses. A bipartisan group of lawmakers pushed back against the tariff threats, warning that the move could destabilize critical supply chains and harm the U.S. economy. Meanwhile, Trump doubled down on his rhetoric, continuing to refer to Trudeau as governor in his social media posts. However, Trudeau refused to be drawn into a war of words. Instead, he remained steadfast, relying on facts and diplomacy to counter the provocations. As the weeks passed, the tension began to ease, not because of a dramatic breakthrough, but due to the mounting realization that such tariffs would hurt both countries. Under pressure from domestic and international stakeholders, the U.S. administration announced it would revisit its tariff plans. While the threat wasn't fully withdrawn, the pause was seen as a temporary victory for Trudeau and his government. For Canadians, the episode served as a reminder of their nation's resilience and unity in the face of external challenges. Trudeau's calm but firm response earned him respect at home and abroad, reinforcing his image as a leader who could stand up to powerful adversaries without compromising Canada's principles. As the diplomatic dust settled, one thing was clear: Canada was not just a neighbor or a trading partner. It was a nation that would not be diminished or overshadowed. And Justin Trudeau had proven that, in defending Canada's sovereignty, diplomacy and determination could triumph over intimidation.